heard Grandmaster Flash and the Wheels of Steel. That was the first sort of do-it-yourself record for me, you know. And when I heard that record, I was like, it was as if all I had to do to make music was to buy some turntables and learn how to scratch. I remember being at school and working through my 6-week holiday at school just to get to some Technics and a mixer, and basically, like, for the next, I think I was about 15, and for the next sort of year I was just stayed in all the time and just learned how to do that.
Armed with his turntables, Liam started DJing, and he soon got a regular set in a nightclub in Essex called The Barn, and it was the place where the Prodigy was conceived.
I suppose it was our meeting ground, really. You know, whatever you did, you know, if you was going out for the weekend and stuff, you'd always have a Friday night down at The Barn.
People used to come down from London every week, you know, because it was such a wicked night.
Yeah, it was a wicked club. And it was real, and all the people there were really into it. Me and Leroy used to dance, and to be quite honest, I went down there and I'd never danced anywhere in my entire life, ever. Not even at a wedding reception, you know, and...
Sure.
No, sure.
What evil?
I wouldn't say Leroy sort of taught me to dance, although everything that I do has stemmed from dancing with Leroy. You know, sort of saying that Leroy taught me to dance sort of summons thoughts of us sort of putting on our favourite tracks in you know, at home in the bedroom or in the front room or something, and you know, him saying, you know, left ear right there, and you know, turn, and you know, as if you're like some dance studio. That's not at all.
One thing clearly sticks in my head was a time we were on the beach, and it was around sort of, it must have been 5 in the morning or something. There was about 300 people there, and I was DJing out the back of a transit van, and this guy came up to me with, you know, long hair, which was Keith, and he was like, "Oh, the tune you were playing last week," and it went, and he tried to sing it, and I pulled it out. I think it was the right one, you know.
Yeah, right. And he said, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll chuck some of these tracks down, and some like it, and I'll sort you out a tape." So yeah, cool. And then the next week he turns up, and chucks me the tape. He says, "Oh, that track's on there, and a few others. I reckon you'll be into it." And on the other side's my stuff. So of course I got home, chucked the tape on, listened to the track that I wanted to hear, yeah, and I was, you know, buzzing. It was really cool. Checked out the other stuff, you know, and you don't expect to know people who can write music properly. You know, you've heard loads of sort of like acoustic demo type things that mates have put together, and I chucked it on. I was like, I can't believe that someone I know has put this together, and yeah, it was just it was superb.
Me, Leroy and Keith decided that we wanted to sort of try and put this thing on stage. We didn't know what it was going to be like or anything at this stage, and we kind of we had a friend called Ziggy who sort of tried to become our manager, and he had a friend called Max in Reality, and he's like, "Oh, he's mad, you know, he's got this little tuft of hair that sticks out the front of his head, looks like Tintin."
I turned up with my friends on the first show, which was at the Labyrinth, and met everybody, and just got on the stage and just jammed. But I was just freestyling lyrics then, you know. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good buzz.
We turned up about midday or something. Turned up midday, like Boy Scouts being prepared. Get all the equipment all set up, trying to work out where these leads went, and you know, how to rig it to the PA and get sound out of it and shit like that. We didn't have sound men or lighting men, and so you know, so we all turned up and no one really knew what they were going to do or how they were going to do it, and then that's how it all sort of started, really.
Charlie says always tell your mummy before you go off somewhere.
We're on stage, Keith's feeling pretty ill. I was doing a sound check on stage and stuff, and I played Charlie at the mix that was in the charts, and the DJ was also checking his headphones at the time, and Keith went up to the DJ and he was like, "What's this tune you're playing? It's wicked, you know." And he's like, "Oh, it's not me, it's your man over there." And that was me playing the record, you know, and it was the first time you heard it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was
So
feeling ill.
I'm sort of thinking, God, check this tune out, that's nuts.
It was a huge hit, but critics described Charlie as the kiddie techno tune that killed the rave scene.
It was the repercussions after that record which killed it. You know, people who were copying other artists, you know, sort of all this kind of crap that followed the Sesame Street. They were the real novelty tunes. They were cashing in on what I'd done. But once I'd made Charlie, I knew I'd never make another record like that again. In sort of the early days, you got the one-hit wonder thing, you know, you got the dance albums don't sell, all that type of shit, you know, and we kind of, every time we released a record, we sort of, you know, we sort of proved people wrong.
It just showed that if you're real and you stick to yourself or stick to what you believe and you do it for yourself and not for the rest of the world, you know, that was the way to get things to pay off, really.
Something that didn't pay off for Prodigy was the Criminal Justice Bill, the law which put an end to rave parties across the UK.
I was really disillusioned with the whole rave scene, and the final straw was when we were in Scotland on stage at a thing called Resurrection, and there was a guy, an official standing at the mixing desk, EQing the bass out of the music, you know, and when we were on stage. And so I just walked off stage, that was it, you know, I wasn't playing my music, no way. We put a statement on the One Love EP, and that for me was kind of like, that was for me the last time I wanted to play in any rave in England, just because it finished, you know, it had gone. You know, it had gone in '93, it wasn't what I was into when I first got into it, and it was like, we'd already started to make our ways into sort of like small festivals and stuff like that, and that was kind of more of a buzz for us, whether it was going to kill the band or whatever it was going to do. We were just into doing that because it was a good buzz, you know, it was a different thing.
As the hard work paid off, Prodigy felt it was time to take the next step, to emerge from the shadows of the underground dance scene.
Everyone before in the dancing was kind of like scared to step out of it because they were worried about not being underground, you know, which is a stupid thing, really. None of us wanted to be pop stars and still don't. But it's like, we weren't afraid to sort of have our faces in the video. Where other bands were like faceless techno artists, we were like, no, it's possible to be credible and to have a face, you know, and kind of, you know, and that's why we wanted to do a video like that, and it worked, you know, it was a good video.
Everyone was trying to put a name on the music that Prodigy were making, and that prompted the band to come up with their own definition.
The press spend all year making up stupid sort of descriptions of bands and stuff, and we just thought we'd have a go, you know? But just something at the time that we just said, you know, and all of a sudden it's like, Prodigy are the electronic punks, you know? But whatever. We just do what we do, and other people can make up whatever descriptions they want about what we do.
Take a band, put them in the middle of a jungle on the island of St. Lucia, make them sweat and run all over the place, and create a mini horror movie, Voodoo People.
We had a wicked laugh, but to be honest, like, it's probably the hardest I've worked in like a good 10 years since the labouring job I'd had on the building site.
The voodoo, what you don't dare do, people.
When you try to put effort into sort of, you know, making something exciting and making it new and, you know, have the enjoyment of maybe making a small sort of quick movie sort of thing, but not coming across like just cheese masters, really. You know, you want to stay cool and, you know, you don't want to look back on it and think that it's not cool.
From character acting to powerful performance, Poison was the tune mixing deep bass sounds and dark drum beats into a rhythmical remedy that brought Maxim to the forefront of the band.
Maxim really wanted to become, at that point, much more of a sort of... He wanted to get on the vocal tip much more. You know, he kind of didn't want to be just an MC. And so we were messing around with vocals, and that track helped him develop into what he does now, you know.
It was good because I just felt like it represented me more, you know. You know, I got the Poison, I got the remedy, pulsating rhythmical remedy, it came from my head.
I got the poison, I got the remedy, I got the pulsating rhythmical remedy. I got the poison, I got the remedy, I got the pulsating rhythmical remedy. I got the poison, I got the remedy, I got the pulsating rhythmical remedy. I got the poison, I got the remedy, I got the pressure.
If I haven't got a microphone in my hand, I'm not 100% comfortable. You know, you give me a microphone and I'm comfortable. And that's what I'm about.
It sums up what we do best, really, just the performance side. It's like, you know, it's had quite a live feel about it, and that's what I'm into, really. I'm into that whole thing.
Coming up in part 2 of the show, how Keith got that haircut, live from Red Square, and the story of Firestarter, only in the essential Prodigy. The tour that followed the release of Poison saw Prodigy take a new direction, with Keith Flint developing his character in the band.
Having the long hair was like a real kind of party, ravey thing to do, and I suddenly realised that, you know, I was still a part of that. And then I thought, and then you're getting into snowboarding and you know, some more, you know, a bit of a sort of street culture type thing going on there, you know, and I suddenly thought, I'm going to cut it all off and just dye it red. You know, one day I'm sort of having it dyed, and I said, have you got any clippers with you? And they said, yeah. So I just sort of like took the middle out and thought, well, I'll make it a bit wider and stick this bit up here. And went round Liam's, and Liam looked through his kitchen window and now what have you done? And he said, no, man, it's cool, I like it, I mean, I'm down with it. And
at the end of the day, you know, if you
worked.
pull it off, you pull it off. You don't have it, do you?
I mean, you know, I suddenly realised I won't be going to work again. I suppose when you sort of like, you leave school, you've got parents. My parents are extremely straight, you know, frighteningly straight. So they've drummed it into you, like, you know, you need to be getting a job, you need to be looking like someone always wants to employ you. And I suddenly realised that I don't have to. I haven't got an employer. I work for myself. This isn't work. I'm having a laugh. I'm in a band, and I'm just going to take the piss.
Hiya! All right, how you doing? MTV Music Awards. Look, now I've lost the others. Where am I going? Everyone's gone. I don't know where they're going.
If there's an award to be won, Prodigy always seem to go home with quite a few at our annual MTV Europe Music Awards.
Here you go, Prodigy.
How you feel?
Woo! Totally ecstatic.
Best dance, best alternative, is it? And best video. Yeah, so that was really nice. Everyone knows you're lucky if you get it 3 times in one night.
The only reason we come to the awards is because it's voted for by the people. You know, we get the coolest people coming to our shows, so we're really lucky, you know. We don't have to play in front of a load of plums. We've got, like, cool people to play in front of, and that's who we respect.
It wasn't voted by the people then, it was more an industry type of thing. We probably wouldn't be here, so...
Well, we wouldn't. We definitely wouldn't be here.
Well, I might be, because it's free drink, so...
Prodigy have turned into an essential live act. Their performances are an event not to be missed, And when the boys are on stage, they take it to the max.
I see myself as like two different people, you know. The way you see me now, and then there's Maxim in the Prodigy, you know, it's something. It's like Liam's music has brought something out of me. If you saw me on stage MCing before the Prodigy, I would have just been walking up and down the stage, just MCing. But because over the years, the music's brought something out of me, inside of me. It's just like the part of me which wants to do parachute jumps, or wants to drive cars fast, that wants to jump off cliff edges and whatever. That part inside of me has been brought out, and that comes out on stage.
I love doing the festivals myself, you know, all the other bands. You get to know everyone, and, you know, it's just spending the summer travelling to all the festivals. I mean, it's probably what most people want to spend their time doing anyway. Listening to good live music, you know, and, you know, sort of soaking a bit of the summer up and stuff.
From the summer to the winter and the ice-cold city of Moscow for a very special show, live from Red Square, and Prodigy really did fire up the crowd from the start.
I remember there was like 2 sets of barriers because there were so many people there. They kind of had obviously the front of the stage, and then so many thousands of people, and then another barrier. And, you know, on this barrier there's like lines of sort of military police or soldier or something going on there, and they're like literally sort of bashing kids, telling them to get down and stuff. I remember just sort of running around there, and people soldiers trying to stop me, and me just getting through, and security sort of saying no, he's in the band, you know, but me not really sort of caring too much. Went to this second barrier and literally just pulled 2 of these soldiers down and used them to climb up onto the barrier, and, you know, stirred all these people up that were being told to calm down, stirred them up, and, you know, got them jumping around. And to me, that the satisfaction of doing that and the lawlessness of doing that was unbelievable. You know, in Russia, suddenly, it proved to me that when you're on stage, you are lawless. What you want to do is what you want to do, and the buzz that overtakes you is unbelievable, and that really proved that to me, that you almost shocked yourself, because I don't think you push soldiers around in Russia, you know, sort of thing that you hear of people not being seen again.
1, 2, 3, 4,
When Prodigy released Firestarter, it was the tune that took them to #1 around the world. That's not bad for something that was an experiment.
With Firestarter, it was literally like we were experimenting in the studio. I'd written the instrumental to be the first instrumental on The Fat of the Land, you know, just as a starting point, you know. And I said to Keith, I'll come round, I've got this little instrumental I'm working on at the moment. And he heard it, and was like, I'd really like to have a go at doing some vocals on this track. I can get a good vibe out of this track. It's kind of doing the right things for me, you know. And then I wanted to try it, just to experiment and see what happened, and just took it from there, really.
But not everyone loved the video, and angry parents called TV stations saying that Keith was scary.
The scary thing, I think that is shite, really. You know, I suppose Marilyn Manson's sort of scary, but in a kind of a proper horror, scary kind of way, and maybe, you know, like a twisted kind of way. But I think that more, you know, I'm not scary. You know, I think I'm scary to people that are scared of expressing themselves, and just scared of life in general, and, you know, just paranoid people, really.
Another powerful tune and another #1 single in the shape of Breathe, featuring breathtaking performances from both Keith and Maxim.
The whole idea behind the tune was me and Keith. It's quite confrontational, you know. And the reason why it works so well in the video is because that's the way it works on stage with us, you know, 90% of the time. So basically we took the vibe which we create on stage and we put it in the studio.
A #1 album followed with Fat of the Land and a controversial video for the tune Smack My Bitch Up, which no one would play except MTV.
We knew the tune was going to get banned anyway, so why not give a video that's going to get banned as well? Even though certain people won't play that video, you know, you look at the video and you think, well, what's wrong with it, you know? I've seen worse films on TV.
There may not have been immediate plans for a new Prodigy album, but fans had something to look forward to in 1999 with Maxim's solo project.
It's going to be quite a hard album, you know. It's going to represent me. That's why it's taken so long to do it, really. Because one, getting time to do it, and two, I want it to represent me 100%, you know. There's going to be a few collaborations on it. I'll give you one, which I've done. That's with Guru from Gangstar. But there's going to be a couple more hip-hop artists on there. Once it comes out, I want people just to listen to it as being me. Do you know, it's another angle of me, do you know, and not. Well, it's not Prodigy, is it? Do you know, because it's not Prodigy. You know, it's Maxim.
I'm not ready to go back into writing another album. I just want to get back to that sort of experimental stage where you can just do what you want and kind of not be under the sort of pressure of having to deliver an album, you know, writing to order. I hate writing to order. You know, I'll just write music because I want to write music now.
Oh my God!
There's no point in saying, yeah, there's going to be another Prodigy album until I'm excited about doing one.
Need
and
a
I'm not,
springboard,
you know, I'm not, yeah, like Firestarter was a springboard for the whole Fat of the Land album. You know, I need to just find that, you know, those couple of tracks that lead me on to the rest of the album, you know. And I'm just not, I don't want to do another album at the moment. I don't feel like doing one. We've done everywhere and we couldn't just keep repeating ourselves, so we just decided like the best thing was to sort of withdraw, get some more ammunition and just come out at a later stage, you know.
To some extent, we couldn't be greedy and sort of just keep seeking that buzz, you know, in detriment to what we were doing. And you know, we were always sort of fresh and ready for action, sort of thing. And we were known for that. And we didn't want to just grind things down, wear it down for ourselves or wear it down for the people, you know. So we knew we had to back off and come back sort of with something fresher and a new vibe for ourselves and hence for the people, and off we go.
Breathe with it. Rock with it.
We've never really stopped and had a reflected what we've done, you know, and just look back at what we've achieved. And in a way, we still don't really look back at that. You know, we just plod along and carry on and release records and
plod along.
One thing that Keith didn't do during the band's time off was plod along. He took to a set of 2 wheels and learned how to ride a motorbike, super sport style.
The bike feels phenomenal. I like the bit on this when you accelerate and you stop breathing because there's too much adrenaline. That's my favourite bit.
I had a little brief sort of go, you know, racing and stuff on a novice level. That's the sort of the only sort of entry level you can sort of come in at. Yeah, you know, just seeking another thrill, and it was superb.
I've always loved riding in a pack with other riders, going as flat out as you possibly can. You know, we all ride like nutters, and I love to ride like a nutter. Here you've got to control it, because, you know, you want to get the best out of man and machine, you know what I mean? Whereas on the road, sometimes it gets silly. Everything that I've learned over the weeks put into practice, but without any thought, if you know what I mean. Because before I know it, I'm starting and then I'm finishing. Number 3, which I'm obviously, I was quite happy about. All the other riders are really cool. I must admit, I anticipated having a target on my back, you know, kind of, yeah, let's show them what it's all about, you know. Tell you the truth, I come round there and they sort of usher you over and they give you a trophy, and as I was going round I was thinking, oh, maybe, you know, I've got a little trophy or something here, and, you know, not knowing how things work, I wasn't quite sure, and to be quite honest, I was really quite excited, you know. Really quite excited. This was really awesome, an awesome day. That's really good.
Maxim released a solo album entitled Hell's Kitchen. It was his first solo record.
What are you going to get when you listen to Hell's Kitchen? You're going to get diverse music, you know, something with an edge, music with an edge. You're going to get a totally different angle of Maxim. A lot of people obviously are not going to understand what I'm about, not going to understand. They think they know what I'm about, but they don't know. I have many sides, and I'm not easily sussed out. When I first started it, I thought, yeah, I'm going to do a solo album. You know, this is like 2.5 years ago, 2 years. I thought, yeah, I'm going to do a solo album. I'm going to do 12 tracks, full hard lyrics, you know. Reality lyrics, strong lyrics. Instead of painting something black and white and something which just quite monotone, what just runs like that with Maxim, next track Maxim. Why not bring different influences in there and people who I respect musically into the album, and that's why I brought Skin in. Instead of painting something black and white, paint something that was colour.
My vision is distorted by my sleazy mind. Too picturesque an image to control this time.
The way Carmen Queasy came about, I literally had 3 tracks and I sent them to Skin after she said she was up for doing something with me. And she picked one of the tracks. I said, cool, come down. She literally came down like the week after. It's cool, let's do it. So she did the chorus on the verse. What I called the chorus was like the guitar, a little guitar in there. But she saw that as the verse. So she did it the other way around. So I thought, no, Skin, no, you've done it the wrong way around. It's the other way.
Your lust is decomposing us.
After she did the vocals, I thought, yeah, that's it. It's finished. You know what I mean? Because her voice was just so good. She loved it. She loved it. For me, doing this album, in a way, it was, touching a bit more reality. As I was saying, that's where I come from. That's why I had the name Maxim Reality. You know, because my lyrics back in the day were talking about reality. Even before the Prodigy, you know, I've been performing and writing songs, lyrics, and it's just something I needed to do for myself. So it's more self-fulfilling to actually do an album and have an album to say, yeah, I've actually achieved something for myself. A lot of people are going to try and expect and want to hear Prodigy tracks, but there's no Prodigy. This is Maxim, you know, so that's what you've got to understand. This is just Maxim. You know, it's nothing to do with Prodigy. If you want the Prodigy, you have to wait till next year.
Liam went on to release a DJ album, The Dirt Chamber Sessions, which he originally recorded for BBC radio station Radio 1. It took a while to come out due to sampling clearance problems.
I guess it follows tradition of all Prodigy things take a while, you know. And I think that the initial mix I did on Radio 1 had a lot more tracks on it we couldn't clear. There was like a Beatles Sgt. Pepper track which I kind of added different bits to, and just it was heard on Radio 1 but we just couldn't clear it. And we did approach McCartney but it just wasn't to be, so we just ended up putting a new beginning on it. And yeah, it was about 60 tracks were to clear, so it was a pain in the arse. But I don't know whether I'll ever do another one. Maybe after the next album. Because I'm not really strictly a DJ. I used to DJ before I joined the band. And I think around that time I was doing a few club dates and stuff, and yeah, it was just like a collection of what inspired me, you know, sort of hip-hop and stuff like that, you know.
Coming up in part 3, why Leroy left the band, how Prodigy came up with the title to their new album, and they give their side of the story on Baby's Got a Temper. The 4th of April 2000, and dancer Leroy Thornhill decides to leave the band.
Well, first of all, Leroy seemed to be unhappy for like a period of about a year. He didn't feel like he wanted to naturally pick up an instrument or play some drums in the band, or just, it was a bit of a token gesture if that happened, you know.
The disruption of that touring, and you know you know, even for Liam writing and Maxim and you know Leroy, you know, all doing their own thing, getting pulled away from the studio environment into the live environment and then back again. You know, obviously he was disrupting his flow, and you know he wanted to make a choice on what he wanted to focus on, really.
The whole performance thing changed.
Become
in a way,
though, didn't it? You know?
It became more of a tighter unit. I don't know if it became in a good way, really, because you know, myself and Keith, we had more contact with each other.
Needed to all start staying on stage instead of, although at first that was quite a refreshing sort of vibe to the act, because it wasn't just here's 4 people, now they're gone. You know, it moved, but with 3 people, that's very hard to achieve, and about sort of bring on sort of jugglers and other sort of side acts.
Temptation to drag one night from behind the keyboards and go, right, you can have a dance this time.
Oh, well, that'd be my last night in the Prodigy, I should imagine.
And mine.
July 2002, a new Prodigy album is finally on the way, and it will be titled Always Outnumbered, Never Outgunned.
It's the title of a book by Walter Mosley called Always Outnumbered, Always Outgunned, and it's just it was a ghetto book, and I just like the title and what it says. We altered the title, and it just we just like what it's saying. You know, it's kind of, we think of ourselves as a small thing, but powerful. You know, Nuclear's like started off as like a kind of pistol-sounding sort of punk track, and realised after we played it live it wasn't really working in that form. It was a good song, but it just didn't really wasn't the right speed, and groove wasn't quite right. So it's good playing the tracks live, because you can see where, you know, it's like a testing ground. You can see what you've got to do with them, and I think Nuclear could be the next single, personally, you know. Trigger, what do you reckon?
Trigger. What do you reckon?
Me?
Me.
I don't know, I think Liam's a trigger for the streets. Liam wrote in his studio and come up with a few lyrical ideas, and then me, Maxim and Liam got together in my studio at mine, which is more of a live environment, sort of jammed it out live, and then wrote a few more lyrics just to add another section to it.
I think there's a track for me that works better live than it does listening to it. It always goes down, you know, it always feels good on stage, do you know what I mean?
I love doing it.
But I don't feel we've quite got there with the actual record yet, you know. But I mean, it's a track on the album, and it'll be finished. You know?
Another tune that will be on the album is No Souvenirs, the much talked about collaboration with 3D from Massive Attack.
We always have a laugh about it. When I speak to Rob, we always say that let's get back and put some more money into it because it could be better, you know. So it's like, yeah, it's a good track. It's, you know, it sounds like the chorus sounds like the Beach Boys. It did a good vocal. It was pretty bizarre, you know. Be out next year, beginning of next year.
Is it because you still don't feel it's right?
No, it's because it's not finished. Do you know what I mean? It's like I only really started writing it just into the end of last year. You know, that was when I really started to solidly get into it. You know, and of course, once you get into the end of the year, Christmas kind of records and stuff like that, you know, basically the best time for us to release a record will be the beginning of next year, and there'll be one more single to go into that record. This new single is kind of like, to me, it sounds like it could have been off the last album, so I wouldn't say this single is like a dramatic step forward, and we knew that when we released it. It's like it's an extension, almost like it's an in-between gap to like the new album. And we finished other tracks, but I just felt that this track was a good vibe to go with. I mean, there's other tracks in the album that don't sound like sort of typical Prodigy sound.
And you may recognise the sample, the infamous riff from Firestarter.
You see me coming from a mile off, once again ignite the skyline.
A few people have questioned why that sample was used, and to me it's pretty obvious that it was done as like a calling. You know, it was the lyric goes, "You can see me coming from a mile off once again to ignite the skyline," and that riff goes with that lyric, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like a calling. It's like, come on, here we are.
The lyrics have also become a topic of discussion as they refer to the drug Rohypnol. The band were quick to explain why they included the controversial subject in the song.
Am I caught in controversy? Well, it's gonna, isn't it? You know, and I'm intelligent enough to know that. But I think when I wrote the lyrics, there was people around that sort of, oh God, you can't do that. I knew the thought behind it, and it felt right for me, and continued to write the song around that, and it felt good.
The song is written about inexperience, and that's what the track's about.
I've tried it, yeah. But it's not glamorising that event. The event wasn't that glamorous to myself. It was just a part of what goes on every night of every week. You know, people come take themselves up and people bring themselves down, and you know, that's something I'd experienced, and I found a way of putting that into words, and something that felt good for me, and felt that I'd got something out, and had got a feeling out, and a thought, and an experience.
We're totally responsible for what we do, do you know what I mean?
Just forget it all.
We're not going to write a record about making cups of tea, you know? Do you know what I mean?
And playing in front of an audience of cows was the interpretation of one of Liam's dreams.
Liam came up with a cow idea, didn't you?
Yeah, it was part of I don't know, it was part of a dream I had. It's always weird though when you come out of ideas and then it's hard to put them onto like something that it represented originally. Do you know what I mean?
I think in a way when you watch a video, when you watch a video and you see people taking on our personas, it's quite funny. You know, I think
it's tongue in cheek to me. You know,
if you can laugh at yourself, you know, you have to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, at a time when MTV and a lot of but music in general is just like everyone's trying to be so tough and kind of walking around with spiky haircuts and this new metal thing, and it just that's become boring. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I think it was, for me, it was good to see a bit of tongue in cheek back again. When people come and see us on stage, people see it in its raw form. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't get we haven't done an edit for MTV anyway. It's like people still can see the track after 9 o'clock or whatever.
I think the people we play to, you know, you have a vision of the people that are your people, and you don't see, you know, anything other than mature people that make their own minds up and, you know, make their own decisions in life. You know, it's a very mature crowd that we play in front of, and I think that you know, that's always in our minds, you know.
A new Prodigy album in 2003, and it sounds like it's going to be well worth waiting for. But no pressure is on to come up with the perfect album.
There's no such thing as a perfect album anyway. You know? As soon as you reach that peak where you say you've done a perfect album, where do you go from there? You know, you always... It's just progression. It's just like a painter. You just continue painting. It doesn't say, like, that's the best picture I've ever painted, I can't paint anymore. You just paint something else.
It's the next story of the band.
Yeah.
I mean, we always said as well that we wouldn't want to carry on unless we felt like we was kind of doing something, we were progressing in ourselves, you know. And I feel like, you know, Keith and Maxim's lyrics have really got much better since the last album. The last album was kind of, half of it was a look forward and half of it was a look back, because there was still kind of some kind of dance stuff on there which was kind of a look back to the previous album before that. This album will be a further progression on more lyrics, you know.
And you'll be able to hear those new Prodigy tunes at selected festivals across Europe in the summer of 2002.
Yeah, I mean, we just come back. At the end of the day, we haven't
really been gone.
Sorry?
Just got back.
Oh no, we haven't been anywhere.
So people tend to like lock into like years. They say, what's the new 2002 version of the Prodigy, as if we're going to have like some kind of facelift or something. But I must be like oblivious to time, because it doesn't feel like I've been away anywhere. To me, we did Australia at the beginning of the year, then we went to America, and now these are the next dates. You know, we kind of tend to do gigs every couple of months, and then once the actual record is out, the lead up to the record is like it is now, you know. And then when the actual album drops, then we'll be doing like, you know, we'll be doing tours and stuff like that. But for the moment, it's good for us to do these gigs, these festivals and stuff, because it's just a good testing ground for the material. And you know, we love playing new stuff, you know.
It just sort of it just completes the sort of circle for us, you know, from studio to the live thing, you know. And we've got the tracks to take to that environment, and it just completes it. We've heard it, sort of, you know, we've got it on CD. We need to get it out live. We need to see what it does when we drop it in front of the people and see that reaction, and that gives us feedback. That's part of something that goes into the Prodigy thing, that stirs it up and makes it spit more product, whatever it may be, you know, more focus, more energy back out again.
Everybody!